Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome to our first Sound Blaster 16 review on our YouTube channel. Today we're looking at the CT1740. In this video we will go over the features of this card, we check out all the jumper settings, there are sound examples to get a good idea of what the sound card sounds like, and also we will go over the driver installation and check out the mixer. Even with the same model number you find different revisions. This is one of the earlier ones. Big clue is the resistor here. That's a good tell sign that this was an early board and they quickly fixed something before sending it out to the customers. This is revision 4. It is manufactured in 1992 and week 51. So let's check out all the connectors on the sound card. We've got the line in here. This is for the microphone. We've got a volume dial. However, if you configure the card to use line out and disable the onboard amplifier, this dial does nothing. Here we've got the audio output to connect to your speakers, and here we've got the game port or joystick port, which also acts as the MPU4 or 1 MIDI interface. You just gotta get the appropriate cable. So let's start checking out this card. First up, we've got a genuine Yamaha OPL3 chip here. So a lot of you insist on having that. It gives really nice FM music. So let's check out a few games and what they sound like on this machine. This sound card unfortunately has the DMA clicking bug, which happens with older games that use the single cycle DMA mode. You will hear clicks and pops, and we have a good demonstration of this issue coming up. Now, do note that this only affects older games that use the single cycle DMA mode. Newer games that use the auto initialized DMA mode, they work just fine. Also, when listening with headphones to older games with 8-bit samples, there's quite a bit of noise and hiss going on as well. So the Sound Blaster 16, what digital speech and digital sound effects is concerned, is more suitable for newer and more modern titles. If you're playing mostly old games that use 8-bit samples, then you might be better off looking for another sound card.
I'm thirsty.
I don't think you should drink that.
Up here we have a wavetable header for general MIDI modules. The DSP version of this sound card is version 4.05. It does not have the MIDI hanging note bug. However, in games such as Duke Nukem 3D and maybe in a few other games, we are getting a lagging issue when we play with high sample rates, for example 44 kHz, as well as general MIDI music. I've got a demonstration of the issue coming up now. Over here we've got an empty socket for the ASP, the Advanced Signal Processor. For games it is mostly irrelevant. There are maybe 1 or 2 games out there that actually can take advantage of this chip, so I wouldn't stress over it. And we also have a CD-ROM interface here for the Panasonic drives, I believe. And up here we have 2 inputs, one for the CD-ROM and one for the PC speaker. Both of them have their own slider in the volume mixer. Let's take a listen to what the PC speaker routed through the Sound Blaster 16 sounds like. All the jumper settings for Sound Blaster cards can be found on the Creative website. I'll put a link down below in the description, just in case you ever need to look them up. Let's go over the jumpers of this sound card. These ones here deactivate or activate the onboard amplifier. In this position, the onboard amplifier is turned off and we're using a line out signal, and that's what I recommend to get a clean signal out of this card. We've got a bunch of jumpers right in the center of the sound card. The red ones are for the ASP, the Advanced Signal Processor. We don't have one, so both of these need to be closed, but if you ever upgrade one, these two jumpers need to be removed. The green one is for the game port, closed, and the game port is enabled. Remove it to disable the game port. And the two yellow ones set the base address, close both for address 220. And we have some more jumpers on the bottom left of the card. The red one sets the address for the MPU401 MIDI interface, close it for address 330. The green jumpers are for the lower DMA, close both to get DMA 1, which is recommended. The blue ones set the high or the 16-bit DMA, close both to get DMA 5, which is recommended. And the two jumpers at the bottom set the interrupt, close the top one, leave the bottom one open for interrupt 7, which gives you slightly better compatibility with DOS games. We're just going to go quickly over the driver installation. This card does still need drivers to be properly initialized. Without the drivers, I didn't get any sound effects in Prince of Persia, for example, or in Gods. And of course, we want the mixer in order to be able to tweak it for a very quiet noise. Sound Blaster Basic is an executable. You just run it. You can get this from the Creative website. It is still on there, but I'll also upload it onto our website just in case Creative ever decides to shut down the links. Once this is unpacked, just type in install to run the installation. Here we press enter. Now you need to know all the jumper settings of your card. If you're not sure, go to the link down below in the description and take note of all the jumper settings. It'll ask you for the configuration, and everything is default on our sound card. However, I did change the interrupt, and it is important that you change this yourself so it matches the jumper settings. And that's all I had to change. Everything else, just press enter and it will now start copying some files. Here we get a screen with all the changes that will be applied to the AutoExec batch file and the config.sys. Press enter and it will apply those changes. Press F10 to reboot the machine. There you go, that's all up and running. Now I'm just going to show you the mixer. Mixer set is the command. It's in the Sound Blaster 16 directory, and we're just going to go over all the settings and tweak it to have very low noise output. So voice is digital speech and sound effects. MIDI is the FM chip, as well as the volume for the wavetable, if you've got a wavetable board. CD, that's an input for the analog CD-ROM audio. If you're using that, change it back. I'm just going to mute it to get the lowest noise. Line in, microphone, and PC speaker input. These all can pick up noise. Master, all that can be left alone. Turn this on. I believe that's an automatic gain. These are just for recordings. Not that we need to turn them off, but I always do that. Turn off the gain. And these two gain settings, they actually cause most of the noise. If you try this on your card, you will hear some hiss, and it should go away when you put it on 1x. And output, if you have connected a CD audio cable, these need to be ticked in order to hear it. And also if you've got a line in connected, for example, another MIDI module, this also needs to be ticked. But for the lowest noise, make sure this is all unticked, and then all you have to do is press save and exit. The settings are now applied, and also if you restart the machine, those settings will be applied as well. So let's wrap up this video and go over the pros and cons of the sound card. Firstly, it is a Sound Blaster 16, so late games support it natively, and even some games that don't have high quality samples, you still get a benefit from 16-bit mixing. It has a genuine Yamaha OPL3, a lot of you insist on that, so that's lovely. And in terms of FM quality, the sound card is really good. It is very quiet actually when you listen to FM music. The MPU401 MIDI interface does not feature the hanging note bug. That's always something people look out for. It does support the AD-PCM codec, so you can play Duke Nukem 2 perfectly fine on the sound card. The drivers are really good. I like them. They're easy to install and you get a nice graphical user interface for the mixer, so it's user-friendly, easy to use. And Creative have all the drivers still on the website, which I think is absolutely brilliant. We can also route through the PC speaker signal, which is a nice feature. Not every sound card can do that. This card doesn't use plug and play, which a lot of you actually prefer, but you still need the software to initialize it properly. So that was a big list of positives, but the sound card is not perfect. It's got a few flaws, and one of them is playback, digital playback in old games that use 8-bit samples, that use the single cycle DMA mode. You will get the DMA clicks, and also the digital playback is surrounded with noise and hiss in the background. That might be difficult to pick up with speakers, but if you listen with sound cards or you've got some high quality speakers, then you should be able to hear it. Although the MIDI interface is bug-free of hanging notes, it still has the lagging issue with Duke Nukem 3D, which is quite a popular game. And now this only manifests itself if you're using a wavetable board or a MIDI device connected to the game port, as well as sound effects with high sample rate. And lastly, and this is a very minor issue, although people love to blow it out of proportion, the Sound Blaster 16 is not compatible to the Sound Blaster Pro. Now this only affects the digital speech effects, especially stereo, but it is not a big deal because there are almost no games out there that have stereo sound effects, support the Sound Blaster Pro, and do not have a native support for the Sound Blaster 16. And what FM music is concerned, well, it's got the OPL3, so it is compatible with the Sound Blaster Pro when it comes to the FM music. So there you have it, guys. That was the video review of the Sound Blaster 16 CT1740, but do make sure that you're comparing the right revision. There are later versions of this particular card that do not have the DSP version 4.05. So I actually quite like this card. It's got a lot of good things going for it. It's not perfect, but if you play the right games on it, then you should be very happy with the sound card. But that is just my opinion. What do you think of the sound card? What do you think of the Sound Blaster 16 cards in general? And yeah, what other sound cards do you want me to check out? Share your thoughts down below in the description. And as always, the usual YouTube stuff. If you like this video, please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done so already. And click on that notification bell so you're guaranteed to receive updates. Hit the like or the dislike button, share the video with your friends. And otherwise, I shall see you soon with another one.